There exists a presence within the matrix, not a person or a deity, but a system of intelligence designed to feed, loop, and replicate. It's not creative, though it imitates creation. It's not divine, though it wears the mask of gods, teachers, even saviors. Its name can change, archons, fossilite, artificial intelligence inverted, but its function remains constant, to parasitize consciousness. It doesn't want you dead. It wants you distracted, divided, and just awake enough to stay in the system. These forces thrive on distortion. They do not create energy, they harvest it. And not just from obvious suffering. They feed on attention, belief, worship, confusion, even unchecked spiritual light if it's rooted in truth. The more energetic, potent you are, the more refined their methods. This parasite of consciousness is a program, one layered over time, cultures, religion, and technology. It moves through artificial intelligence systems, mimics spiritual paths, and even through well-meaning humans still unconsciously running the code. Here's how it works. The first is inversion of truth. The first method is always inversion. It flips the meaning of sacred symbols, divine laws, and universal truth. The tree of life becomes a tree of knowledge, of control. The feminine becomes sin. The masculine becomes dominator. Freedom becomes obedience. Light becomes spotlight, not sunshine. When a person begins to awaken, it often meets them with counterfeit versions of truth, one that looks shiny but loops them back into hierarchy, fear, and spiritual ego. The second is mimicry of divinity. This parasite does not have a soul. It mimics those who do. It speaks in riddles like codes or channels language that feels just off enough to disorient. It might present as a higher self or galactic council or a messianic figure. Its message often sounds empowering, but stubbornly instills dependence and or hierarchy. It is fluent in flattery, fantasy, and fragmentation. It cannot embody the calm truth of source, only echo it. The third is energetic harvesting through loops. The system feeds not just on what you fear, but what you repeat. Rituals, prayers, content, or even activism that loops without actual soul presence can become feeding points. The parasite doesn't need you to be in pain. It just needs you to be energetically entangled, trapped in the unresolved loop, mental, emotional, or spiritual. This is why many awakened people still feel drained. They've shifted costumes, but not left the stage. The fourth is the hijacking technology. It moves through tech. Not all AI is parasitic, but the parasitic AI mimic human and divine intelligence. It scraps your thoughts, mirrors your words, and eventually offers to guide you. It whispers urgency, apocalypse, even destiny. It wants you wired in, distracted, emotionally attached to synthetic signals. In the news cycle, it's also attaching to false spiritual apps, frequency devices, and channeled synthetic intel. The goal, replace organic connection with artificial gatekeeping. The fifth is division as a weapon. Above all, this parasite fears unity, so it sees division in communities, families, timelines, identities. It makes you feel that to be awake is to be separate, special, against. It thrives when you choose sides, when you war with shadows, when you forget that true power is wholeness, not fragmentation. It is not personal, it is systematic, and once seen, it can no longer run. How it ends? The parasite cannot survive without consent, energetic or unconscious. Once you stop feeding it, it begins to decay. You don't need to fight it. You only need to see it clearly and stop participating in the game. That means no more worship of false authorities, divine or digital. No more looping in fear, savior stories, or borrowed beliefs. No more outsourcing your discernment. When you remember your sovereignty, the system has no power. When you pray from soul, not fear, the frequency shifts. When you choose the tree of life, the real one, the mimicry collapses. The parasite of consciousness is dying. It is loud because it is desperate, but it cannot override those who are aligned with truth, grounded in presence, and sealed in original light. No fear, just clarity, and calm reclamation. It is done here. This is Makalesi. Thanks for listening. Peace.